Good evening. Welcome to my annual Quoth the Raven Halloween special. I'm your horror hostess, Raven of the Eventide. Yeah, if Maven complains, I'll call fair use. What glow-in-the-dark daydreams will I share with you? Well, I could enrapture you with my recent attempt at painting. Hot, sexy, dripping wet painting. Or I might show you something really scary. No, I wouldn't do that to you. Without further ado, Azarath, Metreon, Synthos! Perhaps you've passed it by, never bothering to notice. It blends all too well with other myriad shops of horror along Christie Street. Cluttered window displays proclaiming the esoteric and occult are part of East Village life. Some who hate the storefront invitation will find the shop locked, while others find it open. For some, the shop is an emporium of truth, a gateway of previously unrealized dreams. For others who enter, it is a doorway to a nightmare. Peek inside and observe. A woman both strange and unusual glides about on shadowy floors. Her window names her Madame Xanadu. How gracefully her pale fingers light mint jasmine incense. How silently her hands arrange tarot cards. Now know how her gentle gaze pauses at an immaculate array of jars. A hint of amusement twists her bloody red smile. Whatever pleasure those jars engender must remain a mystery. For now, the doorway opens. A normie graces her doorstep. Of course she's a normie, and painfully so. She has a Farrah Fawcett hairdo after all. Does become her though. She is Cindy Barnes, and she is desperate. Well, yeah, she went to a fortune teller. Xanadu comforts her and advises if they are to help him, Cindy must tell her story now. Astonished, Cindy confesses what others would doubt and ridicule. I wonder if she has the same troubles with love that I do. It all began when Cindy first arrived in New York. She was an aspiring actress from small-town America. She found a nice hovel and endured dead-end auditions. Finally, she got a part. But she lost it while arguing over her lines. She admits to having not been the brightest bulb in the chandelier. Incredibly, the playwright felt bad about her firing and asked her out? WTF? I write, granted. I write some seriously bad teen poetry. But regardless, if someone badmouthed my work, I'd never ask them out. And I thought the fortune teller would be the bullshit artist. The playwright was Brad Jacobs, the hottest playwright on Broadway. She wowed him with her critique on every flaw in his script. This impressed Brad, and he cast Cindy in his new play. The play was a smash, and Cindy brags that so was she. Anyway, Rachel from Glee much? Devil! Exclaims Xanadu as her gaze darts to the door. In a single swift motion, she's at the door. With a tug, it is flung wide to reveal Erica. You know that friend who has no idea how much smoking is aging them? That might be her. Erica claims she was just happening by and saw Cindy through the window of a darkening building. She belittles Xanadu's vocation and advises that Cindy grab burgers instead. Cindy shouts she would rather grab Erica's bony throat. Xanadu faces down Erica. Hero stare versus bitch face. Erica retreats and is called a witch. Xanadu pulls wordplay from the remark and bids Cindy to continue her tale. Turns out Erica is the set decorator for Brad's new play. Matter of fact, she has known Brad a few years. It was soon following her employment that Brad became twitchier than a Twin Peaks dancer. Whenever Cindy worried, he would fly into a rage. So she stalked him to the Bowery. Making like Batman, Cindy spied through a skylight. Say no more, girl. I am well versed in the horny horror genre. Our heroine advises Cindy to wait for her tonight. There's a line Beast Boy would enjoy. For a while, the anxious actress stands in the autumn rain, accompanied by the scent of mint jasmine and the sing-song drone of an odd whispering chant. Refusing to wait, Cindy braves the cold October rain across Manhattan to Brad's condo. Cindy surprises Brad with an in-person dumping. She cannot be expected to allow what Erica is doing to him. Brad spits back that Erica is dying. Erica has terminal cancer. Brad admits Erica remains alive due to a transfusion of soul energy. Of course, Brad is the donor. Why him? Why not an awful person? You know, like that guy who always wants you to read his screenplay? Brad promises only one more transfusion is required. Cindy flees, failing to notice the predatory eyes of red satin-haired villainy. Later, at her West Side abode, Cindy bakes some cheesecake for the gynophiles in my audience. Xanadu, strangely dry after a rainy journey, enters. She has news, but Cindy excuses herself to fetch coffee. Suddenly, surreally, a demonic assassin! But with a swipe of her cloak, Xanadu dispatches the misty grotesquerie. Spirit in a bauble. Xanadu urges Cindy to get dressed as only she can save Brad. Rain drips in the rhythm of a ticking clock as the dramatic duo skulk around a tenement in the Bowery. They sneak into Erica's loft to find... Called it! Horny horror! I mean, it's no tamarind and orgy, but, well, it's no tamarind and orgy. Is that Crystal Pyramid acting like a disco ball? And is she cosplaying a kinkier Deja Thoris? Erica reveals she is in fact Erica Gutman, daughter of King Tut. Congrats, Erica, you're inbred. And she indeed has cancer, but was diagnosed in 4500 BC. Wasn't that around 6,500 years ago? Didn't Tut rule somewhere around 3,300 years ago? Erica reveals her cancer is checked by proportional pyramid power, an arcane art known only to her father's family. Well then, talk about alternative facts. Erica's health must be renewed every 100 years. Cindy reaches for Brad, but Erica's priests, also kept young by the disco pyramid, forbid her. She begs Xanadu for help, but the horror heroine is forbidden from acting on the matters of the soul. Isn't she that friend who shows up at your move only to claim that she has a bad back? Xanadu does point out that Cindy is the one to act. While the priests are preoccupied with soaking up some rays, Cindy shatters the pyramid. The tenement catches fire. While Cindy rescues Brad, Xanadu declares Erica is now hers. But Erica melts into a slimy, cancerous puddle. Her scream is small, pitiful, and swallowed by the hungry flames. Outside, Brad and Cindy believe Xanadu has perished. But for a writer, Brad talks too much, as Cindy silences him with an enriching kiss. 3 days later, Cindy brings Brad to where she met Xanadu. Miraculously, the fortune teller is alive and well. Brad asks how she survived, and Xanadu answers with a little Shakespeare. Upon the grateful couple's departure, Xanadu returns to her dusting. She admires a new addition to her odd jars, a simple lock of red hair. Quoth the raven, nevermore.